Survivor specialist Phil and Alexa are back with another one of our season 40 winner retrospectives. Today we're talking Yul Kwon with Billy Garcia from Survivor Cook Islands. In case you couldn't tell from the picture behind him, what are we looking at here? Where did you get that? What is that?
That's one big banner of just a Survivor logo all the way down. This is one of my little what you call autograph convention thingies that I have. So people know who I am when they come walk up, and I don't have to go, yeah, I'm Billy, buy an autograph from me. Like then they'll know.
People don't know who you are. What the hell is that?
You know that T-shirt that I'm famous for. I've still got like 20 of them, but I put on a few pounds, so I still need to get some new shirts of a size larger.
There you go. Well, I mean, the banner behind you is certainly big enough. I love it. I love the setup you got going on over there. But Billy, we were talking to each other. Who are we going to get for Cook Islands? And it's a tough one because it's happened so long ago. A lot of people have kind of fallen out of the community a little bit. People like Ozzy have played so much, sometimes it's hard to kind of track them down. And then it was like, let's talk to Billy Garcia. We were actually talking to Johnny Fairplay about it, and he was talking about the Billy coin he has. So
tell us about the coin.
He has the coin.
Yeah, that's
trying to get your hands on it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, there's anybody that wants any, just contact me directly and we'll talk in PM. But it's literally just something I came up with as a piece of merch because I had sold so many of my autographs that I think that wasn't a big seller anymore. And then I've sold so many of my T-shirts that wasn't a big seller anymore. Tons of my band CDs, people were buying them that don't even listen to metal. They just wanted to have it. But I needed to come up with something new, so I came up with a coin that on one side was my T-shirt logo, and on the other side was Survivor's old font and name before they came up with this newfangled whatever that is that they got going right now.
There you go. So, but then, we're talking to you before this. And we're like, well, he never actually was on the island with Yul. He didn't actually play a day with Yul, despite being on the same season as him. So what's he going to be able to do coming on here to talk a winter retrospective? But Billy, you broke some news to us before this podcast, and it sets the entire tone for what's to follow. So why don't you tell us what happened?
Yeah, in the second episode of Survivor Cook Islands, my tribe threw a challenge to vote me out, and it was very obvious to everybody that was there because it couldn't have been more obvious. In spite of the edit, it was actually even worse. So I was upset, and they wanted to send Adam because they felt Adam was a threat to them somehow, and they wanted to weaken him at Exile Island. But just to stick it to them, I kept saying no. And in that conversation with Candace that didn't make it onto the air, which was a lot longer than what they showed, I asked them, like, if you vote out my tribe mates for revenge for me, I'll send whomever you want to Exile Island instead of Adam. And they were like, and Jonathan stepped in and he said Yul. To this day, I don't know why he handpicked Yul, but he did.
Oh my
so God. Yeah, so I fought with my tribe over it, and as I started getting loud and started voicing some of their dirty laundry, they gave in. Mm-hmm. So I ended up sending Yul to Exile Island, where he found a hidden immunity idol that he used to leverage his way through the game and win. Without that, we wouldn't have got far at all. High five me.
Has Yul cut you a side check of his $1 million or potential $2 million? Or are you still waiting on that?
I didn't even get a steak dinner out of this, man.
Well, but you might be the sole reason why he is about to be on season 40 of Survivor. You might be that reason.
Wow.
I was the same thing for Candace. She made it back twice because of me. Nobody would have known who she was if it wasn't for me. Yes, and now Yul. I'm like, oh man, can I catch a break here? Can someone just send me a Christmas card at least?
So no Christmas cards from Yul, despite giving him an idol. But so what we're going to be talking about here is we're going to be breaking down Yule's game. We're going to be seeing how you think he's going to do on this season. We'll throw the tribes at you. We'll let you know who's out there. But yeah, I mean, so despite the fact that you weren't actually on the tribe with Yule, what did you hear about Yule? What did you see from Yule? I mean, Penner for some reason hand selects Yule. What do you think it is about Yule that was made him either likable, unlikable during his season? And what do you think is going to help him going into this season?
He was the perfect politician. In between challenges, we're supposed to be on gag order. But of course, you saw in my season that I definitely did not respect the gag order, and I talked in between challenges and all that, and it wasn't just me. You was very, very good at being a politician in moments when everybody has their guard down, when you're just taking off the gear or whatever from the challenge, or putting on the gear for the challenge. In our case, in the second challenge, we were cabled together, so it was a lot of putting on those harnesses and putting on those cables, and he just took that opportunity to say stuff and to connect with individuals. And looking back, now that we mentioned with Jonathan, I don't want to speculate too much because I don't know what happened, but in the first episode, the Asian tribe's chicken went missing, and Jonathan ended up with chickens. And if you remember, he got sent to exile in first because the African American tribe, the Hiki tribe, thought he stole them. Mm-hmm. Now that I'm kind of thinking about it, I'm like, did he steal them or was he given them?
Always goes back to the chickens. Always goes back to the chickens.
I love the idea that we're going to be on season 40 of Survivor, and Yule's going to be passing out chickens to people to try to curry favor. Yeah, I love that. I love that idea. I mean, Alexa, run down Yule's starting tribe again so that we can give Billy some ammo here.
All right, so Yule is on a tribe with Wendell, Tyson, Tony, Nick, Sophie, Sarah, Sandra, Kim, and Amber. What do you think here?
I've met everyone on that tribe except for Sarah, Officer Sarah. I haven't met her yet, but I've met everybody else on that tribe, and the rivalry between Sandra and Tony is legit. Mm-hmm. It's not. Yeah. It wasn't for TV. It's legit. So I think that they're going to go at it early, and that'll give Yule the opportunity to do what Yule does and play peacemaker and nicey nice. And we just want a happy tribe. We just want to have good morale, because morale is where a lot of energy comes from, since we're food deprived. And he's gonna play that whole angle, and he's gonna, if there was babies to kiss, he'd kiss babies and shake hands and
kiss the chickens.
He'll kiss the chickens. Yeah. But yeah, that'll be Yule. And so if Tony wins out on that rivalry this go around, I could kind of see Yule playing woo to Tony.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and I'm not just saying that because he's Asian. I'm saying that because their temperaments are very similar.
And I think him having kind of a more subdued temperament will be really good because, like you said, Sandra and Tony are just going to go at it. And a lot of people, on this season, and not so much on this tribe other than Sandra and Tony, and I guess maybe a little bit of Sarah and Tony, is there are a lot of interconnected relationships, and Yule doesn't really seem to have that. Do you think that's going to be good for him, or do you think that'll hurt him?
If he were a different player, I'd say it hurt him. But since his game is centered around being the complete politician, it's not just his words, it's his mannerisms, it's his demeanor. He's the complete politician. Because that's his game, I say it will help him a ton. I totally see Yule going very far in this game. He might be a 2-time winner.
Yeah, wow.
Then he owes you $3 million.
He owes you $3 million.
then he's a little tidbit. He's the only Asian to ever win. If he wins twice, that's one man is basically representing an entire race on Survivor.
and I could see him based on his temperament and things like that. I could see him getting along well with Wendell. I could see him getting along well with Sophie. These are people he's starting out on the tribe with. Kim, I could see him getting along with. And I don't think, even though he played a really good game, he did have this super idol the entire game. And Ozzy has been so much more the face of your season since it aired. that I actually don't think Yule is going to be seen as big of a threat as Yule probably should be seen starting out on these tribes.
No, there's so many bigger threats on not just his tribe, but on the other tribe that, I just don't see him being targeted early. And then on top of that, I've met Wendell. He is as laid back as Yule. Yeah. So the two of their personalities are going to mesh very, very well.
Yeah.
And Kim is laid back. You mentioned Sophie, who's very understated. She never raises her voice. She never gets demonstrative in her mannerisms. So yeah, all these people that you're naming, I could totally see them becoming a cohesive unit just because they mesh so well with their chemistry.
Yeah, and so do you think that he's going to have a hard time being that he's one of the only old school players out there? Do you think that's going to be a disadvantage for him, or do you think he's going to be okay and be able to pick up the new school game pretty easily?
Is he one of the old school? Because Amber's on his tribe. She's going to rely on him.
Like him, and Ethan, kind of Danny.
Yeah, I would say everybody up until season 16, I would consider old school. So really, we're going up to Parv. I mean, Parv has played season 20, which was right after Russell, which is new school. But if you look at you have season 3, season 7, season 8, which was Sandra, but she's played since. And then you have season 11 and season 13. Those are the only early seasons really represented. So I would say definitely old school, especially when idols, there was one super idol. Now there's how many people have idols on this season of Survivor that we're watching right now?
Yeah, no, that's true. That's true. And he did do a lot of innovating, and there was a lot of innovating going against him that didn't work out, but has since been used a lot. Like Cowboy innovated the splitting of the votes to flush out an idol. So there's a lot of, he was centered around a lot of innovation on his season. Yeah. So and then you also have to take a look at who he played with. You mentioned Poverty. He's played with Ozzy. He's played with Jonathan Penner. He's played with Dr. Candace. He's played with so many all-stars that he's used to a high-level game. So I don't think he'll be hurt by the new school style in that, new school, different from old school, they hit the ground running with alliances. When I played, I was frowned upon for making an alliance. It was like I was treated like I was such an a-hole for making an alliance, and I was so wrong. And today, if you don't make an alliance, you're an a-hole. You're not even trying. You're not even trying. So and for the fans who or want to see that actually on screen, take a look at the recap episode that aired. I think it was the week before Thanksgiving or the week after Thanksgiving. I can't remember. But they actually showed my game only on that episode. On the original first 2 episodes, they just show Candace and chickens.
Yeah, for anybody who doesn't know what Billy's talking about, there used to be recap episodes in the middle of Survivor's before streaming and all of that fun stuff. When watching it live was really the only way to watch it, unless you had a VHS and prayed that it actually recorded when it said it would. And so they used to do these recap episodes, and they were actually interesting. Now we get all of that content online. We get a lot of deleted scenes, and I'm sure that a lot of stuff that would have been in your recap explaining your story would have been in the deleted scenes that we see so often. But back then we didn't have it. And so we would actually sit down for an hour, and my parents would normally complain, but I would always watch it because it was, as far as I was concerned, it was Survivor, and I still wanted to see what was going on.
Yeah. There was so much more insight. Back then, the focus was more on the edit-wise was more focused on the journey of Survivor and the experience of Survivor, and on the recap is where you really got the game. Today, you get that straight away in the edit of getting the game of Survivor. So, for me as a fan, I relied on the recap to actually see the game get played.
Yeah, that's true. It's true. It's a weird way to look at it, how much it's evolved since it's been on for 20th year. That's what happens, right? But so Alexa, who's on the other tribe here? Because Parv is over there, and we do know Yule and Parv have played together. But who else is over there, so we can throw that one at Billy and see who he thinks Yule might connect with?
Other tribe, we have Parvati, Natalie Anderson, Michelle Fitzgerald, Denise, Danny, Adam Klein, Ben, Ethan, Jeremy, and Boston Rob. What do you think?
You were mentioning old school. There's a chance for an old school alliance on that tribe.
Yeah, there could. Yeah. Now that I was thinking that just as I was reading that out. Yeah.
So if they take over, even though Yule likes to act like he's a loyalist, and he pulls it off, people actually believe it. He was the guy who orchestrated Jonathan Penner jumping sides left and right. Mm-hmm. So yeah, he's not above like changing sides or switching things up. So I could totally see if Yule gets far, but then finds himself on at the bottom of his tribe when the merge comes or when a switch up comes. I could totally see him like jumping sides to the old school alliance. And
keep going.
No, I was just gonna say, and from there he could work his way to the top.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Who do you think he would not gel well with? Like who is Yule like totally not going to work with?
Wow.
Or nobody. Like is he that good?
He's that good, but if I on his tribe, if I had to guess, it would be Tyson, just because Tyson, even though it's humor, you have to know him to get him. Mm-hmm. If you don't know him, it comes off as so arrogant and so pompous. But it's humor. It's just a sense of humor. He's really not a bad guy. It's just his humor. It revolves around him saying how great he is.
Yeah. And that's why I think he has so many fans out in the Survivor community, because people love his sense of humor. But I mean, I could see where there's a reason he got voted off and got 8th place on his first season. It's because he was coming across when he had that tribal council where he said, I like everybody here. And he starts naming them one by one and doesn't name Sierra. And Jeff says, do you know you did that? And he goes, yeah.
I don't see what the problem is.
Yeah, of course he knows he did that. Do him and Parvati work together if they get a chance, or does he not? Do him and Parvati not get along? Because we don't really know anything about that dynamic.
Actually, well, first of all, Parvati is so good at reeling in like the smallest little common bond to make it this big thing to where, oh, how can we not get together? Like we have this little micro molecule of a bond together, but it's the whole world, the whole universe will implode if we don't get together because of this one molecule of common bond. She's so good at that them being on the same season, I think Parvati will be the one to initiate that. Mm-hmm. I don't think it'll really come from you. It'll come from Parvati.
I totally agree with you. I think Parvati is probably going to start off in a similar situation that she did for Heroes versus Villains. I think, they're voting off just like any female because she could be Parvati, like at this point in Survivor. So
good point.
I think she's going to kind of need someone, and her and Yule will already have that connection. So assuming, there's a tribe swap and assuming they end up together, I could totally see them linking up.
What I love about Parvati is that her game, people describe her game as being a flirter. Her game is actually to be a chameleon, because she was a flirter first, then she was a mastermind second, then she was a challenge beast in her third go around.
Yeah.
So she's a chameleon, whatever she needs to be. She reminds me of what's her name? Jennifer Lawrence's character in the X-Men movies.
Oh yeah. I know who you're talking
Mystique.
Yeah. I was going to say that, but I don't, because I watch so little superhero movies. I would have gotten heckled if I got it wrong. So I had to hold off.
That's a great analogy.
It's true.
Yeah.
We always talk about Parvati. I mean, she finished 6th, 1st, and 2nd. That's insane.
It's not bad.
That's absolutely insane. So I think that
Boston Rob is the best ever. Go figure.
Yeah.
Hey. You
There
don't
we
have to
go.
tell us, okay? You don't have to tell us.
Yeah.
But I think Boston Rob's in a lot of trouble on this season because all the winners going out there knew that him and Sandra were doing season 39. So I think that actually is going to prevent a old school alliance, because I think people are just going to be worried, like, well, how in is he with some of the people here? Like, how in is he? He was kind of working for the show for a season.
He was, not only did he have an entire season hanging out with Sandra to build a relationship, then he has his wife in the game, so he's basically got 2 people that he's rock solid with. And then the old schoolers, it's not a secret that we all go to these events. So the old schoolers have been hanging out together for a decade longer than a lot of these other players have. So, yeah, I would see Boston Rob having this massive target on his back. But he's Boston Rob. I mean, if there's anybody that could wiggle off a hook, it'll be him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's going to be good.
It's going to be real good. I'm curious. I'm curious to see where Yule's going to stand on this. Do you think that Yule is going to be somebody who tries to come out and control the game? Or do you think he's going to be somebody who kind of comes out and lets it play out and sees where it's going. And
I'm going to give you some inside information again.
Here we go.
Here we go. Some more Cook Islands information. A lot of the ideas that Yule got credit for actually came from Becky.
Okay.
Becky was great at, how do I put it? At problem solving within the context of the human chess game of Survivor. And what Yule was great at was being the mouthpiece and in a very political way, in a very politically correct way, get the idea over to everybody, including the idea of, hey, let's keep working with Jonathan, even though he's stabbing everybody in the back. He'll find a political way, because that is what the Yule was behind, was Jonathan's flipping around. But the other ideas, and like it was Becky's idea for Yule to take a step back in the challenges and just stay close enough in case they need him to win, but let Ozzy do all the winning, because then all the heat goes on him. That was Becky.
Yeah, there you go. So he'll probably let somebody not dictate his game, but he's open to ideas, and he doesn't have a problem kind of putting his pride aside to take a little bit of a step back.
Oh, not only that, but he'll take the idea and make it sound like, when it's a good idea, he'll make it sound like it's his.
Yeah,
and people will buy it.
So I wonder if he's going to play a similar game where he's going to find his Becky, whoever that may be, or maybe he'll just have to kind of play on his own or play as a part of a larger alliance.
Yeah, what was great about old school Survivor was that you could get away with a 2-person alliance and then just have a group of people around you that were expendable. Today, it's kind of like they're trying to bring that back with the idea of the voting block, but it's really an alliance of one at this point if you're going to do the voting block. Because you got to be able to flip on everybody and stab everybody in the back if you're in a voting block. I don't see you as being an assassin where he just slit everybody's throat. But I do see him standing in the middle of an alliance and being the guy that keeps it functional and making it sound like, without me, you guys are all going to fall to pieces. Like, he'll find a way to say that without actually saying it.
Yeah. I could see that for sure. I mean,
I wish I could do that. I wish I had talent.
That was his whole game in Cook Islands. That was it. That was his whole
yeah,
me and I need you. That was it.
If I had that talent, I'd have stuck around.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So when I look at this, like, what do you think in terms of, like, do you see any chance Yule goes out pre-merge, or are you feeling like he's going to make a deep run in this game?
Yule only goes out pre-merge if there's like drop your buffs like every other tribal. Like that'll mess up anybody's game.
Yeah. That's which I think they might, just because of how well this whole cast knows each other. Like, they got to find a way to keep all these pregame alliances out, which I know they can't. But I hope they don't, but they could.
I agree with you, and you know what I do hope they bring back for my season, the mutiny, where they give you like 5 seconds to step off your mat and join the other tribe.
It's gonna be Boss and Rob, Sandra and Amber, and then everybody else.
I wish I was there for this reason alone. I had a plan. I would have told my whole tribe to step off the mat, and we'll merge right now.
Right there.
Right there.
That could have happened. That could have been it, but yeah.
It's the merge.
I mean, I really do think that there's certain circumstances on Survivor where they just get lucky the season they pull it off, and I think like Chris Underwood winning Edge of Extinction, it only happened because it was Chris Underwood on that season. And then there's other situations that happen throughout, but this was it was with David versus Goliath when Carl plays the Idol Nullifier. That would only happen on David versus Goliath. I think the mutiny only probably is successful on that season. I don't see many other seasons where people are doing it because they're so worried about their standing in the tribe, especially at that point in the game. Maybe in Africa, T-Bird and Frank probably would have stepped off in a heartbeat because they wanted to make sure that they would have been fine. But in some of these newer seasons, I just don't think people would be as willing to do it. I think that you just had a perfect situation of Candace and Penner and how beautiful it was when the I-2-4 ended up coming all the way back and winning it.
Well, in Palau, everybody should have stepped off the tribe as well. And didn't pull it there.
That's an example.
Yeah. But, no, I think on a returning player season, it'd work because there would be so many pre-existing relationships.
Yeah.
Because that's why it worked in Cook Islands, where essentially it was the original Rero, the Caucasian tribe.
Mm-hmm.
They stepped, they reunited over on the new Rero tribe with Candace and Jonathan stepping off.
Yeah.
So that's the way it would work, is people trying to get together with a pre-existing relationship or reunite with a pre-existing relationship.
I wonder if they're going to pull some of that stuff out, especially since Yule is on the season. Maybe they try to pull out big moments from the winter season and make it happen.
I hope they do. I loved in Second Chances how they were redoing challenges that people lost. I would love for them to do that again. Or like things that people won, or I just want them to bring back the auction realistically. Mm-hmm. But, I mean, if I'm just being honest, but I hope they do that because I think this season's going to be so nostalgic. I really want like all of the season to lean into that.
Another Cook Island story since you brought up the auction. Mm-hmm. I actually told the joke about the Survivor auction on my season that was so bad that even the crew all like,
oh God. It was that bad.
So you're the reason Yule won, and you're the reason that we don't see the Survivor auction anymore because they don't ever want that joke to in the light of day.
I don't know if I got it canceled, but I'm probably one of the few people that got a reaction from the crew.
Nice. I love that.
That's hilarious.
Alexa, why don't we dip into some of those questions and see where this starts to.
All right, so we have 2 questions that we're asking each person. So I know you said you think Yule's going to do far, but give me an actual placement. Is he losing in the final 4 fire making? Is he in the final 3? Is he making the family visit? What do you think? Is he the first person voted out? Let's hear
Winner. I'm taking him to win. Just for one selfish reason. So that I can say I was on the hardest season of all time.
There you go.
We're a 2-time winner. We're a winner in poverty. All these all-stars, including Ozzy. I could say that's the only reason I lost. That's it.
Yeah, you were voted out by arguably the best runner-up in Survivor history. So there you go.
Yeah. And then I handed the win to what could be only the second 2-time winner ever.
Wow.
There you go.
I fully support this decision. So now, if Yule can't win, who do you have winning? You can't pick Yule for this one.
Oh. All right.
There's been a trend. Everyone's been kind of picking 2 or 3 different people, but I want to hear yours.
Selfish part Dukes. I'm gonna go with poverty.
I like it.
I love it. I love that there's no strategy to these picks. It's just selfishness. I want it to be
fully support it.
Why don't we talk a little bit about poverty then? Since this is the Yule episode, and we
were on her season.
You were on her season. So what do you think? What do you think here about Parv's chances realistically? I know you just picked her as the other winner if it's not Yule.
Let's hear why.
But what do you think?
I'm thinking she's such a chameleon. She's able to adapt so well that if there's anybody that could maneuver all new twists that get thrown at them, or the best of twists, Survivor twists of all time, it'll be poverty. Yeah. She's so good at just, you could basically throw her big brother twist and she'll manage it well. Not that I think they should put Big Brother twist on Survivor.
God, no.
We don't need that at all. But yeah, her heroes versus villains game, she had probably the biggest target on her bag, and she made it all the way to Final 3. So she can adapt for sure. And I think on this season, we always forget too. People are going to forget. The last time we saw Parvati play was 10 years ago. She was young and flirty, and that's what she's doing now. She's married, has a kid. Her life is completely different. That was 10 years ago. And unlike on something like, a TV show that's just scripted, these are real people. People change. People get older. Their lives change. Parvati would not be cast as the young, hot girl anymore. And that's just a really weird thing to wrap our minds around.
Yeah, well, I felt like on my season, it didn't get shown, but on my season, she was, not to the level of Ozzy as far as the outdoor skills, but she was up there in the outdoor skills. And so we kind of saw it on Heroes versus Villain because she had to adapt to a totally different game where she was running up coconut trees and doing all sorts of things that you would expect an Ozzy to do, or I'm trying to think of who else was a great outdoorsman. Really, Ozzy stands alone. But
Ozzy's so ahead of everybody. It's really unbelievable.
But to have her even in the same sentence, that's a good compliment.
Yeah, so thank you. I on behalf of poverty, she's not here. But I totally think that's going to be the next chameleon phase where she's gonna be the person that'll be indispensable. And other people with bigger targets, like her tribe has Boston Rob. Holy smokes! Like, talk about a saving grace for her to where she doesn't have to worry about that first time at tribal. She's got Boston Rob there, and if he pulls a Sandra, and it takes three or four basically tribal councils to get him out, she's made it to the merge.
Yeah, exactly. That's what. And then I think like if Parvati hits the merge, she's so unbelievably dangerous because, I mean, she starts to kind of blend in a little bit. Like you keep saying, she's a chameleon. She starts to blend in because once you hit the merge, everybody's gonna be looking at other people as bigger threats.
Well, let me turn the table here and ask you two a question.
Yeah.
Ooh.
If Poverty makes the merge, who's a bigger challenge monster than her?
That's the crazy part, but nobody's gonna look at it like that. Yeah. I mean, people forget she was a boxer going into your season. That's like what her thing was. She's an athlete for sure. I mean, she has the record, I think, in that one challenge where she's just standing there holding with her arm up. She was really good at the one where she stands on the pole. She was good at all of these challenges, and a lot of them now are endurance based. So, I mean, yeah, she's gotten older, but she's still only 36 years old. It's not like she's ancient. And if you're 36 years old, I mean, it's really not that hard to keep up with the endurance challenges, I don't think. So I think she'd be great.
Yeah, I'm looking at this list. I think, I mean, like Phil said, a lot of more recent individual challenges are endurance-based, which tend to favor women. I know that's a gigantic generalization, but I think Kim and like Jeremy and Tyson would maybe be her. But who knows that all of them are making the merge. But Parvati, I think Parvati's one of the... She's like one of the challenge beasts this season, which is great because no one would ever think that.
Mm-hmm. Especially with Boston Rob starting the season. Yeah. She could just totally hide behind that. Oh, he's too good. If you let him get to the merge, he's never going to lose. I was on a season where a guy that never lost. Yeah. She could totally play that up. And wow, yeah. So I see Poverty and Yule, and I'm looking good. I'm looking good.
With my pick. Cook Islands is looking real good right now.
I like how supportive you are of the Cook Islands group because we've had some other people on who aren't as supportive. You know, like they'll be like, I don't want them to win. I want
Fair Play just trashed Sandra the whole time.
Oh yeah, that happened.
I look at it, even though I am supportive of my season because I do like them as people. Yeah. But, I'm actually joking seriously when I say that it's for selfish reasons. So
I hear you. I'd be the same way. I keep saying I want if Michelle can't win, I want it to be Adam because Adam was a fan of our podcast before he played Millennials vs. Gen X. So I want Adam to win the game because then I can say he learned everything from us. He won twice because he listened to us. It's all my fault. Just like you, I want a percentage. I want my 1%.
I want my Christmas card, damn it.
Yeah.
At this point, I'll take a Facebook hello. Facebook happy birthday. The wave of the happy birthday. Yeah. Oh, the poke. That's so old school.
Bring it back to the old school.
I wonder if you can still poke on Facebook. I'm going to give some.
I think you still can. It's really bizarre that they still have it there. I love it. It's still there, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, or at least a Candy Crush,
That's what ends up happening. I don't even think anybody plays Candy Crush anymore, but you just keep getting sent that they're requesting you something.
Yeah.
It's just that's the algorithm that we're in now. All right, so what else do you want to talk? What else you got here, Billy? Like,
give us some closing arguments.
Yeah.
Oh well, since we're talking about an all-winner season, Jeff Probst for the longest time kept saying that'll be the last one. That'll be the last one, and I think Jeff Probst is finally on board with something I have been saying since season 13, when I was told that. I better not wait to audition or turn down season 13 because that'll probably be one of the last ones. I think he's finally on board with there never being the last one. Yeah. Like when Jeff Probst is like 80 years old and can't get around anymore, they'll just pull a Drew Carey and put somebody else out there. Yeah. and it'll just keep going. It'll keep going.
To me, it feels like the comparison I made, because I was a little paranoid that season 40 would be the last season before we ended up seeing all the casting stuff come out for season 41. And like now we know that season 41 and season 42 is going to happen because it's all over, the internet. But I started to get worried, but then I started to think about it. Well, it's like a sporting event. Baseball's not just going to go away overnight, and football's not just going to go away overnight, and all that stuff's not just going to go away overnight. So because it's not just going to go away, I think that, Survivor should be viewed like that. You have your fans who will root for people all the time. It's got a history now to it that goes back 20 years, which, I mean, not many sports. I know that sounds ridiculous, but other than like the big sports, there's a lot of sports that try to start up and don't last, or leagues that try to start up. And it's still killing it. People still watch it. People still talk about it. You now have like an entire like army of Hall of Famers you can bring back at any time. And I don't think it should end. I think you're right. I think that we just need to find our Drew Carey, who's going to fill in for Jeff when he's 80 years old, which still is like a solid 25 years away, but somehow Jeff's in his late 50s, which is bizarre.
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if his replacement isn't even born yet.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. What I'm really looking forward to is that season when the entire cast is made up of people that were born after the show started.
Yeah,
I am so looking forward to that, because that's going to be a completely different season than what we're used to. A lot of people tend to refer back to the older survivors as older Survivor seasons as why they should do this, or why they should move forward this way. And this will be different because they didn't grow up with what was it like before, when if you were a certain type of player, you were ostracized by society. Now they grow up with like, if you're not like a vicious, cruel, cold-blooded, ruthless assassin out there, then you're not even trying.
Exactly. Exactly. It's so true. But we're probably not far off from getting a season like that. I'd say, I'd probably say you'd have to go a couple more years, because they always want to have a couple older people. And now it looks like the seasons are skewing a little bit older, especially with 39 and now with 40. But hey, we're already at a point where it's all 19-year-olds, right? Like 19-year-olds can be playing.
Yeah.
I saw Jeff Probst on Twitter tell someone that if they're 17, that's old enough.
Yeah. Well, because
that's coming from Jeff Probst.
They would play. By the time they would.
If Jeff wants you, he'll get you in.
Yeah. Because by the time that filming would start, they'd probably be 18. That's probably what he's saying.
Or there's some sort of, now that they allow Canadians or something, there's some sort of legal loophole. Yeah. Legal loophole that maybe some Canadian law allows for it, or something. I don't know, because I'm not familiar with Canadian law, obviously. But I know from my season, and having read my contract, that if it's legal in California, it's legal in the game of Survivor.
There you go.
Because when they lease the property, it becomes subject to California laws.
Okay.
So maybe it's a California law that 17 is old enough to work, since Hollywood's there.
I know, right? My God.
Yeah.
No, that could be. I mean, I don't know, but I like that that we're already looking towards like the younger people that are going to be playing this game. I mean, it's this is just going to keep going on and on and on, and I can't imagine they're going to stop it before season 50 now, right? I mean, that would be crazy. If
they're not
stopping it after 40. Yeah, I mean, it might never end. It might never end.
In fact, I'm so sure they're not stopping it. I'm gonna make a prediction right now.
Here we go.
Give it to us.
We've had fan versus favorite twice. We've had blood versus water twice. I think we're gonna have winners twice.
Wow,
That'd
you go.
Awesome.
That'd be awesome. Because what show?
Richard Hatch will be 90 years old and he goes back out.
There you go. He breaks.
He'll be Rudy Boss age. Yeah. He'll be Rudy Boss age when he played the first time.
Exactly. Break the record. No, I love it, and I don't know. I think that no other show in the history of like TV could have an all-winner season to this capacity of having 20 people and actually having to cut people off of a list. I mean, they had to cut out 19 other people or whatever it would be.
First two winners.
Cut out the first two winners, and then for them to be able to do it a second time. Well, that would just be unbelievable. That'd be unbelievable.
Sign me up. That sounds great.
I actually spoke to Tina recently, and she was kind of disappointed. Not kind of. She was very disappointed that she was not on this season.
Yeah.
So
a lot of people are. I would have loved to see her again.
Yeah, me too. She still got the fire for it. Yeah. And I think she, having played a recent season with Blood versus Water, I think she got a feel for the new style of play, and so I think we would see a more aggressive Tina out there.
Yeah, and she's got that competitive spirit where it's like, oh, if I can figure it out, now I can beat all of you. And she still did really well on Blood versus Water, despite the fact that she hadn't played since season 8. And she still did really, really well. A lot, even though Jervis beat her technically, I think she played a much better game than people like Jervis did. And so I think that, Tina, if she would have had another chance, I think that she would have been somebody to really, really watch out for. She could have been great on this season.
Yeah, I agree.
Winners at War 2 will be headlined by Tina Weston.
Yeah, exactly. Tina.
That'd be awesome. That'd be awesome. Yeah. Oh, wow. So since we're talking about who's going to win, what about picking our first boots? How's that for an idea?
Ooh,
who's our first boots on season 40?
I keep on saying it has to be Rob or Amber. I think anybody, whichever tribe loses, you have to vote one or the other out, because you'd be crazy not to let them pair up again. Like, that would just be so insane that that their husband or wife is on the other tribe and you're not going to vote them out. I would just think that would be just crazy, crazy gameplay for these all winners. I think that would be a big oversight.
I think from the red tribe, it's going to be Rob or Parvati. Whichever one they decide, whichever one the collective group decides is the scarier one, but I lean towards Rob. For the other tribe, I would say Sandra or Amber's probably the right choice. I'd say Sandra or like Sophie. I don't know, or Kim. I mean, people are probably super freaked out by Kim because Parvati they've seen play a couple times. I think since Kim's only played once and just slayed it her first go around, people are going to be really freaked out by her.
Okay. I think it'll be the loser on one tribe. It'll be the loser of the rivalry between Sandra and Tony.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think that'll cause enough chaos that people will say, like, this has got to end now before it consumes the tribe.
I can see that.
We need some pristine, some peace and quiet.
And then on the other tribe, I just find it hard to believe that Rob is going to, unless he finds an idol right away, that Rob is going to somehow escape that humongous target that'll be on his back.
I feel.
Like, it's going to be humongous. Yeah. Maybe the biggest in Survivor history.
Well, and because everybody calls him the best player, the best male player, whatever they want to call him, there's a lot of other men out there right now who want to prove that wrong. There's a lot of other women out there right now who want to prove that wrong. They want to get rid of those people because they want to be considered the best. They're tired of hearing about Boston Rob. They're tired of seeing the statue. They want to be that person that it could be the face of the show. I want all winners. I should be the face of the show. So I think that's what they're all going to be fighting for here. And I think that's why this is going to be an insanely, insanely competitive season. It's going to be so good.
It's going to be great.
Plus, it didn't help that Rob had that book thing going for a while.
Yeah, I know.
The Boston Rob rules. You were mentioning about how people want to prove something wrong. They're going to want to prove that book wrong. Is what they're going to.
Didn't read it once. Beat Boston Rob. That's what it feels like it would have to be. Billy, do you have? So we're almost at like the 45 minutes here. Do you have anything else that you want to end with? Any last parting thoughts? Anything like that? We kind of covered pretty much everything, I think.
We did, except for hashtag bring back Billy Garcia. Yeah. Wink, wink. We didn't do that. But I will say something that I really get to cover is how great the fans have been for the last 13 years to me. And then so I just want to, and especially since this is my first time on your show, I want to specifically speak to your fans here on Survivor Specialist and just say thank you. Like, this has been a dream come true. I was one of you guys. I was just a fan. My sister heard about the open casting call. She was the one who was going to do it. She chickened out. She dared me to do it. And me being me, I showed up. And the rest is history. I just got lucky as hell. Mm-hmm. And so I'm literally like a leaf in the wind, a piece of seaweed in the tide. I just got swept away, and I haven't been back since. My old life is long behind me.
That's awesome.
It's not even a speck of dust in the horizon anymore.
That's awesome. I think that's what's so great about the Survivor community and everything like that is just you were 19th place on season 13, and we are all the way to season 40 now.
crazy.
And still, we could have you come on here and people know exactly who Billy Garcia is, and they know exactly what you did on your season. I think that just speaks such volumes to how big of the fans of Survivor are, and just how incredible it is. So, yeah, it's great that we've been able to do these podcasts that we've been doing with everybody. They've been super fun, and I mean, it's great that people like you, Billy, are always willing to come on and talk about them, because
We'll happily have you back.
It's a great time. It's so much fun to talk to you, and we'd love to have you back on for another show in the future for sure.
Oh, for sure. I'll be like that stain that you can't wash out of your favorite shirt, man. I'll just stick around forever.
I love it. Well, on that note, Alexa, I think you should take us home. I think that's a good heartfelt way to end a podcast.
That's a good way to end. Well, for those of you who are hoping for a Christmas card from Kwon or Billy Garcia, Christmas is right around the corner at the time that we are releasing this. We recorded this on Monday, October 28th, but we're releasing this the day after the Edge of Extinction finale. Or no, God, what finale is this? Island of the finale. Oh, man. So what a crazy finale that was last night. I have so many opinions on it. We all do. So follow us on Twitter. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook. You guys know where to find us. Billy, thank you so much for coming on. We had a blast talking to you.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks, Billy.